والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد قال الله تعالى أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وكذلك أعثرنا عليهم ليعلموا أن وعد الله حق وأن الساعة لا ريب فيها إذ يتنازعون بينهم أمرهم فقالوا ابنوا عليهم بنيانا ربهم أعلم بهم قال الذين غلبوا على أمرهم لنتخذن عليهم مسجدا صدق الله مولانا العظيم. Without any tamheed, I have recited one ayat from Surah Al-Kahf and translating first, and then inshallah we'll go into 7 things which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in this ayat. First, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَكَذَلِكَ أَعْثَرْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, in a very loving, beautiful manner, if we translate, that these people, they did something for my pleasure, I did expose them. First thing, I did expose them onto them. Why? So, people must know that Allah's promise is haqq. And the third thing, Qiyamah is going to come, there is no doubt about it. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that I expose them into the midst of that conflict, that dispute, that debate, that they were arguing about one particular matter. إِذْ يَتَنَازَعُونَ بَيْنَهُمْ أَمْرَهُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, when I expose them, what happened? فَقَالُوا ابْنُوا عَلَيْهِمْ بُنْيَانًا. So now they said, to remember them as their memory, let us construct something for their memory. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again said, this sentence we should underline. رَبُّهُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِهِمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Allah knows them very well. Allah knows them very well. And the last sentence, قال الذين غلبوا على أمرهم لنتخذن عليهم مسجدا. Those who had upper hand, they concluded that in their memory we will construct a masjid. Now, this is the translation. This is the translation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us such that every time we come to masjid, we go to good majalis, we return with Quran and Sunnah, mizaj of Quran and Sunnah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us drowned into the mizaj of Quran and Sunnah. 2 days ago when we had our dars of Quran, we were making dua that, oh Allah, give us the wealth of Quran like you had granted to Allama Sahib. Hazrat Allama Sahib rahmatullah alayh. And sometime you talk back to Allah and you say that, I don't know Allah, you accept duas of sinful people sometime within no time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the wealth of Quran and Sunnah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the wealth of Quran and Sunnah. If we go into the detail, then inshallah we'll share 2 majalis which we had between ourselves and Allama Sahib, me and Maulana Abrar Sahib. And I think Qari Sahib was there in one of the majlis, or both. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us some share from the prophetic vision. In this day and age, we don't need anything else. We need more prophetic vision. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us such strength that we build our thinking, our contemplation, our reflection, our abilities, our potential, based on Quran and Sunnah. Based on Quran and Sunnah. First sentence, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَكَذَلِكَ أَعْثَرْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ. To explain this sentence, I used to mention about Hazrat Maulana Islamul Haq Sahib rahmatullah alayh. And I always used to say that some pious people, they keep their piety secret. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells them that, okay, you keep your piety secret, but time will come, I am going to expose you over the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us mizaj of Quran and Sunnah. Who does not want to be known, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves him. And any piety, any effort for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never go in vain. Here we are talking about the people of cave. We are talking about the people of cave. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَكَذَلِكَ أَعْثَرْنَا عَلَيْهِ. When it comes to the people of cave, we expose them. We brought them in front of people. We made them known to the people. Why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first said, لِيَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ. So, they must know, creation must know, that whatever Allah makes promise, Allah's promise is only and only haqq. أَنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ. Promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is haqq. It is truth. It is based on haqq. أَنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ. وَأَنَّ السَّاعَةَ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهَا. And Qayamat is going to come. Qayamat is going to come. So when Qayamat will come, signs of Qayamat will come. Hazrat Allama Khalid Mahmud Sahib Rahmatullah alayhi, he was gone for Umrah into the year of 2017's Ramadan. Hazrat Allama Khalid Mahmud Sahib Rahmatullah alayhi, he was gone for the Umrah of Ramadan into the Ramadan of 2017's Ramadan. When he came back, we went into his khidmat. And he had come back with some worry and concern. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these people, they have far-sighted glasses. They have far-sighted vision. We're talking about that Qayamat is going to come. Now sometime from the mimbar of Makkah Mukarramah, Masjidul Haram, and from the mimbar of Masjidul Nabawi alayhi salatu wasalam in our time, it is being advocated that to have relations with Al-Yahud, nothing wrong. It is being advocated. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us nourishment of Quran and Sunnah. We shouldn't present Quran only one side of it, and we keep one side of the Quran in hiding. We declare only one side of it, and we keep it half of it undeclared. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Yesterday we were talking about that, nations of the world, all the nations of the world, we must know them by the introduction which was given by Rasulullah sallallahu, by Quran and Sunnah of Nabi sallallahu. Any nation existed previously, or any nation in our time, or they will exist till the day of Qiyamah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us Islamic, Quranic, Nurani, spectacles of Sunnah, that with which we see them. Then we will not fail. Now they have another campaign, Ibrahimi Accord. Ibrahimi Accord. And we are living into the time of Talbis. We are going through this ayat which is into the Suratul Kahf. And Suratul Kahf, it bears one of the biggest defense against Dajjaliyat. And what is Dajjaliyat? It is the name of deception. It is the name of deception. They are having ties between countries. They are having ties between countries, and they have given beautiful name, that normalization of ties. Normalization of ties. It is such a tempting word, such a beautiful word, that if you are not tying the knots in that relation, in that tie, then you will appear as abnormal. You will appear as abnormal. When they say Ibrahimi Accord, beautiful name, what it means in our church, that we are calling people towards Millati Ibrahim. We are calling people towards Millati Ibrahim. Beautiful word, but to deceive us. To deceive us. And when we talk about Hazrat Allama Khalid Mahmud Sahib Rahmatullah Alayhi, his effort mainly was based onto La ilaha. There are efforts. There are various types of efforts. Some people, they make effort onto illallah. Some people, they make effort onto Muhammadur Rasulullah. But some people, and this is very bitter part, that you got to negate any idol, you got to negate any wrong, you got to negate any falsehood, you got to negate any wrong, you will have to stand up against it. That comes first. La ilaha. That's why our Hazrat Allama Sahib Rahmatullah Alayhi, he used to appear very bitter. Very bitter. Very bitter. Why? Because whatever will be wrong, he will say that first, that this is wrong. Before admitting and entering into right, first negate the wrong. That's how the mizaj of Quran and Sunnah. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. La ilaha come first. Your illallah will be valid if you have la ilaha. Your Muhammadur Rasulullah will be valid if you have la ilaha. And both, when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and when it comes to Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we should negate all the types of shirk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the types of shirk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the times of shirk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we should negate all the types of shirk into the risalat of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We should negate the shirk of all times into the risalat of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there is shirk fi tawheed, shirk fi Allah, shirk fi asma'illah, shirk fi sifatillah. Either shirk can be committed into the that of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is very rare. If you go through the history of mushrikeen, you will come to conclude that very rare mushrikeen will say that we do not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all. No. When it comes to shirk, they will have shirk into the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, into the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So shirk into the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, into the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, into the that of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when it comes to the risalat, then there is shirk fi risalat, whose style I will follow. And I don't know, since this pandemic has started, we've been begging. And sometime, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pardon us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. Sometime you will see ulama. Thursday guidelines are disclosed or declared, or Thursday Prime Minister is going to give briefing, let alone awam, ulama, khawas, that they will have a very lengthy and very healthy argument that no, I have read this point, I have read this clause, I have gone into this, I have done everything, I have thoroughly investigated into the guidelines. That's why I am expert. When he is saying that, Supreme Government is asking, my friend, how much did you go through my guidelines? How many expertise do you have about my guidelines? Do you represent my guidelines the way you represent guidelines of NHS? Do you represent guidelines which was given by Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam for all time? If you are going through pandemic, then guidelines of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam must have precedence. Then you are not committing shirk fi risalat. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. So I was saying that, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, as a begging of Jumu'ah, give us firmness into the tawheed about your dhat, into the tawheed about your attributes, about your sifat, about your qualities, about your names. And oh Allah, give us the tawheed about the risalat of Muhammad Rasulullah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us some share from the vision of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From the vision of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and we're talking about masjid, that onto the memory of Ashabul Kahf, they decided that let us construct some building. And people who had upper hands, they concluded that let us construct masjid. We are living in such a tragic time that I was saying that from the member of sometime Masjidul Haram and from the member of Masjidul Nabawi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, only half which will suit the agenda of the time is being presented in the name of Quran and Sunnah. And now there are some voices. They are saying that Masjidul Aqsa is not in Sham. Masjidul Aqsa is not in Palestine. Masjidul Aqsa in Jaziratul Arab. When they say that, then when you go through riwayat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, rapidly change is coming into the Jaziratul Arab. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about his own masjid, Masjidul Nabawi alayhi salatu wasalam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. We used to see our Sheikh Yunus rahmatullah alayhi, that every time he will try to make sure that he will take his khadim, that take my wheelchair into the original masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And there are about 8 ustuwana, 8 pillars. Every pillar has significance. And on those significances, Ummat has derived benefit from the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam till today. But Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, according to some riwayat, that time will come that with these pillars, dogs will come and urinate. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that. Allah's Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that. Allah's Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that, aqrabu silahihim salahun. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that whole Jaziratul Arab, it will be blocked from all sides, and the territory of true Muslims will become very limited. Very limited. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the way they were expelled from Al-Khaybar, they are going to regain Al-Khaybar back. And when they will regain Al-Khaybar back, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, in my masjid, some grass will grow, and like Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Umranu Baytul Maqdis Kharabu Yathrib. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that when Baytul Muqaddas, when it will have its rise, when it will have its rise, it will be the time of the downfall of Medina Munawwara. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us correct understanding of Quran and Sunnah. So, Hazrat Allama Khalid Mahmud Sahib rahmatullah alayhi, he had come back from the Umrah and we went to see him. And he had concerns and worries to share. He was saying that the way tawaf takes place, it is not understandable. It is not understandable. He was saying that. And I was going to share another majlis of the same year. After Hajj, we went to see Hazrat Allama Khalid Mahmud Sahib rahmatullah alayhi. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate him to the highest rank of awliya siddiqeen. He was trying to say that one thing had happened with me. Sometime I will share with you, but time never allowed, and we didn't have that opportunity to share. But when we go through these types of ayat and riwayat, then we want to conclude that maybe he wanted to share these types of dangers that this ummah is going to face. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala connect us to those people who has that prophetic vision and its maximum share. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us go through every ayat and every riwayat under these types of very lengthy, very cool and very nice shadows. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us, protection from the fitna of Dajjal. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us protection from the fitna of Dajjal. So in this ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that, we exposed people of cave. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said we wanted to prove our point that whatever Allah makes promise, it is haqq. And second point, we wanted to prove that Qiyamah is haqq. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said we exposed them when there was a debate that whether there will be life after death. When that debate was taking place, some people were having different opinion and some people were having different opinion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said people who used to have opinion that no, there will be life after death, to support them we exposed people of Kahf, people of cave. So now they came to conclude that, see, these people after 309 years, they come back alive. Then we will be made alive after our death, after Qiyamah will take place. So when these people, they were exposed, and these people, they were aided by proof and argument, so they became happy. They said, now let us construct one building as their memory. The other people who had upper hand, they said, no, let us construct masjid. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Rabbuhum a'lamu bihim. And, we go through this ayat. People, they went into the cave just for one worry and one concern, that no matter what happened, I am not going to compromise my tawheed. I am not going to compromise my iman. I am not going to compromise my belief. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows His power that in no possible, in no possible means that these people can get up again. They got up again. Why? Because they did struggle for the sake of Allah's tawheed. For the sake of, إِذْ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ لَنْ نَدْعُوَ مِنْ دُونِهِ إِلَهًا لَقَدْ قُلْنَا إِذًا شَطَطًا. Our Rabb is the Rabb of Samawat and Earth. And now, world is changing. World will take many modern, very attractive shapes, and somebody else will appear that I am the Rabb of that. At that time, we should have this firmness that whoever is the creator of heavens and the skies and the mountains and the earth, He is our Rabb. No matter whatever you show, whatever magic, whatever deception you show, we are not going to accept you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us, some share from the firmness of Ashabul Kahf. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.